So you want to get hired as a virtual educator. Great. I'm going to go over 5 tips on how to get hired in a snap. Number 1, get on LinkedIn. Just like we may go look up a new friend on Facebook to find out more about them to see, are we actually going to be compatible? Your employers are doing the same thing, or your potential employers. So if you have a LinkedIn or some kind of online presence, they're going to be able to see that, and it's potentially going to put you that much closer to getting an interview. So when you make your LinkedIn, make sure you have a professional photo. It could be a yearbook photo. It could just be one that you take on your iPhone. You don't have to go get glamour shots. Is that a thing anymore? I don't know if that's a thing anymore. You probably don't want to use it if it is. But make sure you have a professional photo. Make sure you include all of your previous work experience and particularly any kind of accolades or something that you can show on your LinkedIn that will set you apart from other people. Then what you're going to want to do is go follow EdTech companies. Learn more about their personalities and see which ones might be a good fit for you. Follow CEOs, follow district managers, follow hiring managers, and start to build a network of people that you potentially could contact or might be in contact with for jobs. This is also a great place to potentially look for jobs, as employers will post jobs on LinkedIn, and you can also click a little button that will allow recruiters to see your information so they can reach out to you. Number 2, search for jobs daily. I cannot emphasize this enough. You may be in a place where you can make searching for a virtual teaching position your full-time job. If not, you may have to find places to work that into your schedule. I'm suggesting that you look 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening, for any potential new job postings on the big websites. We're talking Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Monster, FlexJobs. You can't even look on LinkedIn for any potential jobs. You're wanting to be one of the first people to apply for the job. Imagine you have 20 positions that you're filling, and you are the 120th person to apply for that job. Chances are the recruiter may never get a chance to look at your resume because they have so many resumes to look through, and they're probably going to be done hiring by the time they get to you low on the stack. And it's simply because you weren't one of the first ones to apply for the job. So make sure you are looking on the job boards every single day. You're like a shark, you're looking after them to see for any new positions, and you are applying to them quickly, which means you need to have your resume ready. You want to make sure you have an updated resume. That is tip number 3. Now, when it comes to your resume, if you have a bunch of long sentences on your resume, that's not going to stand out to a hiring manager. So you're going to want to make sure that you have your certifications and the states that you're certified in very clearly visible to your potential employer. Any kind of accolades, any kind of growth metrics that you have, anything that would make you stand out from other employees, you want that in bold, maybe even a section called accolades. You also want, of course, your work history, but make sure you try to focus on your skills and what you can bring to the company. And my biggest tip when it comes to resumes and cover letters is that those need to be tailored to every single employer. So if you are writing one cover letter and one resume and you're sending that to every employer, you might not be getting calls because you're not tailoring your resume. So if you see a job that you're interested in, go to that company's website, learn their history. Learn what their vision, their motto is, the thing that sets them aside as a company and makes them unique. Then you're going to want to make your resume about that thing. And hopefully you're applying to companies not just because you want a virtual teaching position, but companies that align with who you are as an educator. So tailor your resume to be about those things, because the employer will see that and say, hey, this person's already one of us. They have all the same ideas as us. and make you much more likely to get that call or that request for an interview. So when it comes to getting on LinkedIn and you are following different EdTech companies, different CEOs, different district managers, different hiring managers, see what they're writing about and try to make connections with those people. So you could be following up with them on articles that they've written. Potentially, if somebody is in a position that you'd like to be in, you can reach out to that person and talk about their experience and how they got into that position. Maybe even ask for a Zoom meeting or a chat if they have a few quick minutes to talk to you about how they got where they're at. These kind of networkings can really help you to get a job. You've heard it said before, it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's true. The bigger your network, the bigger your opportunities are. Number 5 is going to be dust off your interview skills. Some people are very comfortable in front of a camera or in an interview kind of situation. Some people get very, very nervous. So what you are going to want to do is look up the top 10 questions that are asked in an interview. You can go over those with a family member or a friend, or potentially what I like to do is I just like to say my answers out loud and see how natural they sound. If I'm answering an interview question to myself and I'm stumbling over my words, that means I need to take time to think about my answer. Maybe write out my thoughts on that and see, what do I really think about this interview question? I found that when I went over those top interview questions, I was prepared for anything they were going to ask me in an interview. If I asked myself, what is my greatest strength? But their question was, what can you bring to our company? Why are you an asset to our company? That's the same question, just worded differently. So when you go over those top questions, you really are preparing yourself and making sure you're not going to fumble over your words or draw a blank, especially if that's something that you feel nervous about. So practice them alone, talking out loud, write out your answers, say those answers out loud, or practice with a family member or a friend, or talk to your dog. Any way that you can practice saying these things out loud and make yourself more comfortable when it comes time to interview. When all is said and done, what you're wanting to communicate to your future employer is that you are a passionate teacher. Not just that you like sitting at home in sweatpants. That may be a perk to being a virtual teacher, but that's not why anyone becomes a teacher. In a virtual environment, you have to think outside of the box and you have to constantly be flexible and ready for changes. It's a unique environment. It may be a great environment for you, but it may not be the best fit. So if you're hoping to sit at home, drinking coffee all day in sweatpants and not do very much work, this might not be the right field for you. But if you like thinking outside of the box, problem solving, and coming up with new ideas and ways to meet student needs, then this is probably the field for you. And I hope these tips help you in securing that EdTech job. If you're looking for more information, I will link the article down below that was written by a former hiring manager for an EdTech company.